The homes in Toronto were a little cheaper in August compared to July, with lots of choices out there for buyers. Let's go to Jason Mercer on the new numbers. He is the Chief Information Officer at the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning.
So prices dropped by a fraction. The benchmark, I believe, is just over $1 million. It's a continuing trend. Why is that?
Well, we've seen a lot more inventory in the marketplace, especially relative to transactions over the past year. So even though as we move through the summer, we were seeing sales up in comparison to what we saw last year, new listings were up even more. And with homes staying on the market longer, that means that standing inventory at the end of each month has been increasing. And so that's been a benefit to home buyers because they've had more negotiating power in the marketplace, and we've seen that in the price trend.
Okay, so you mentioned the inventory sitting out there. Are you seeing a lot of new listings as well? And are the sellers who have been sort of sitting on the sidelines, are they coming into play now, or are we missing something in the picture?
Well, I think we have seen an uptick in sales, but putting into perspective, just over 5,200 sales in the month of August relative to what we were seeing, say, in 2020 and 2021, where we were over 10,000 in the summer of 2020. There's still a ways to go to get back to those types of levels, and I think a lot of it comes back to affordability. I mean, we've seen improvements on the borrowing cost side, we've seen improvements on the average pricing side as well, but I think there's a lot of households that are still on the margin of affordability. They need to see a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see, the Bank of Canada's stance in a couple of weeks and as we move through the remainder of 2025.
Yeah, the Bank of Canada, if they do cut the rate, that could be a bit of an impetus there. What about condos? We talk about the glut in some of the major markets. Are you seeing an easing in that at all?
Well, certainly that's one of the segments where we have seen, a real uptick in inventory, and that's either people looking to move out of their current ownership housing type and into something else. We've also seen investors looking to sell the units that they may no longer want to rent, or they've just taken possession of in a newly completed condo. And so there's certainly a lot of inventory there. And I think it gets back to that affordability picture where for a lot of first-time buyers, they have every intention of moving into the marketplace at some point in the future, but they just need a little bit more relief on the interest rate front, and then they'd be able to take advantage of this inventory, this negotiating power in that segment.
Okay, so let's talk about the outlook for the fall. What is the fall typically like in Toronto and surrounding regions, and what do you expect to see from what you've seen so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, the Greater Toronto market's, very seasonal. And so certainly in the winter months, that's where we're seeing the lowest number of sales. And then, peaks out sort of May, June is generally when you're seeing the highest sales numbers. And you see a little bit of an uptick oftentimes in September and even into October. And so that very well may take place. But again, we'll still be off those sort of peak levels of sales that we're seeing in 2020 and 2021 before we start to see the Bank of Canada hiking interest rates.
Okay, so it sounds like it would be an ideal time then for a buyer in this market because there is a lot of inventory. Usually sales slow down, so it's a better time maybe to pick up because sellers have their homes ready to go. Does it sound like, or what advice would you give to buyers in a market for the fall?
Well, I think certainly, looking forward, if we do see further cuts to borrowing costs and that feeds through into mortgage rates, then I think there are a lot of buyers, a decent cohort of buyers who will say, you know what, that was the extra piece that I needed. I want to take advantage of this extra supply in the marketplace. And so we certainly could see an uptick in sales in the fall and even as we move into the early part of 2026.
Jason, I also want to ask you, because we talk about Toronto, and of course there's the city of Toronto, and then there's the outlying areas, which we refer to as the Greater Toronto Area. Are the trends similar in both, or are you seeing something different between the two?
I mean, broadly speaking, we've seen similar trends. I think the one difference that you see, say, in the city of Toronto and some, sort of population nodes in the immediate surrounding suburbs is the condo market. I mean, we've seen a lot of condo construction in the downtown core and up the subway lines, certainly in the city of Toronto, Mississauga City Centre, and some of the town centers in York region as well, whereas some of the other suburban parts are still more focused on single family homes, whether you're talking about detached semis or townhouses. But by and large, we have seen similar trends unfold across the GTA.
Got it. All right, Jason Mercer, I'll leave it there. Jason's Chief Information Officer, Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. We thank him for that.